What is something that your profession allows you to do that would otherwise be illegal? Dispose dead bodies. The grave robbing and general looting. Fellow archaeologist. You hope. Watch people shower. What job is that? High school gym teacher. Ethical penetration tester. I've been trained to be a cyber criminal but to use my knowledge to help people. Oh right, computers. Right. I was thinking something. I dunno else. I arrange for people to take power tools, knives and ropes into prisons. Santa? I worked in construction in a prison. 2 hours to check in, work 4 hours, 2 hours to check out. Heaven forbid you forget an essential tool outside of the 17 locked doors and gates. Why does it take so long to check in and out? Our sister company at my old job did prison work. One day in the yard a gigantic guy walked over, picked up a 24-inch pipe wrench, and made a beeline for another guy. Luckily a guard intervened. Construction tools can be used as weapons. Damn, I just remembered how much I don't want to be a prison guard. Hey, I'm a prison guard. It's really not that bad of a job. You have your bad days but it's mostly just hanging out with mates. Prison mates? Inmates. I get to walk into my workplace with an axe and nobody blinks an eye. It would be very strange to not be carrying an axe, to be honest. Imagine if you carried in a feather duster and the building went into lockdown and the surrounding streets were cordoned off. That's how my staff act around a feather duster if I ask them to use it. I have access to pretty much every explosive known to mankind. Also, I can legally cook meth. As long as I do the paperwork for it. Go into people's gardens in the middle of the night. Wait, WTF job is this? An opposum? I deliver newspapers. I start at 4 AM. Wow, that's early. How late do you go to bed? Before 4 AM. An open and shut case. Last week I had an appointment with a woman who stabbed me repeatedly for the sole purpose of permanently scarring me. Tattoo artist. His wife. I get to use all the 4 official use only center median U-turns on the highway. I had a friend get pulled over for doing this. And the cop came up and said to him these are for official use only. His response was yeah, I was officially using it, it went well. You drive for Uber? Once when I was in the Navy as an E3, I got a terrible haircut at the ship's barber shop. It was so jacked up you wouldn't believe it. Anyway, you write in the log how your haircut was, so I wrote sucked dog nuts. By the time I got to my shop, my first class was already standing out in the passageway waiting for me. I didn't even say anything, just turned around and went back to the barber shop. Their first class came out and started yelling at me, and at one point he said that the logbook was an official logbook. I replied that this was my official haircut that I had to officially walk around with the next couple of weeks. It went well. I'm a tandem skydiving instructor. It would otherwise be illegal to push people out of an airplane from 13,000 feet above the earth. I can freely look up clients' social security numbers, sometimes their bank accounts, and just about all of their most personal information. Yep, I stole over 200 identities this past tax season. I even told the IRS I was doing it. Put it on a big form and everything. The best part is, my victims paid me to do it. FBI? Probably works for Facebook. Facebook Bureau of Investigation. Tackle people because they have something I want. Walmart Black Friday shopper? Football player? Watching film releases before the official release date. Torrent seeder. Rub oil on naked people for money. Architect. Okay. I don't know what your architect is doing to you, but I think you need a new architect. I get paid by the US government to look at child pornography. Mostly sitting in office buildings for Secret Service, FBI, Homeland Security, and, rarely, local police departments. This is because the government has to pay for a defense attorney if a defendant can't afford an attorney, and the attorney has the right to hire a computer forensic expert and check the evidence in person. In 20 years, I've seen only one case where the prosecuting attorney got the defendant mixed up with another defendant, and I had to say, guys, this defendant does not have any of this evidence at all on his computer. And they quickly found the mistake. Other than that, the government mostly gets it right, but there have been a few cases where although the evidence existed, the government got search warrants that were not exactly legal. Most of the work is not designed to show that the defendant is innocent, but rather to quantify how guilty he is, and or find evidence that sort of explains the story, and or if they represent a threat to others. In other words, it's used at sentencing but not at trial. No one wants to present this evidence in front of a jury. The negatives of most jobs we can class as too boring, too much hard work, too dangerous, too long hours. But yours is just way too disturbing. Being a criminal defense attorney includes being exposed to a lot of traumatic shit, unfortunately. I knew the world was dark before I became an attorney, but it's so much worse than most people think. Chop up various human organs. Sometimes I take a little piece home with me. Pathologist. Going on closed trails or off trail in areas that have been closed to the public for field research. Pokemon Go player.